Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on? Sure, it's wireless. Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password? Buick Envision 2021. Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable. That's a really tight spot. Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking. Me too. Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High-quality cigars plus personal customer service with Slow Burn. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. It's more than a mobile lounge. It's an environment and an experience rich in history, luxury, and personality. An elegant extension of any celebration occasion. It's the perfect escape and meeting place, a space where you can relax or enjoy a shared passion. Have Slow Burn plan your next big event, or before you are planning to celebrate your win over your athletic rival, you can shop our collections at www.slowburnwaco.com.
But if they won...
Good day, good people. Once again, you've got the grumpy old nerds in your ear. As always, it is I, your Uncle John, your elder who knows way too much about movies, TV, and comic books. I am but a child at heart, in spite of the gray hairs on my chin. And as always, I am joined by our cast of characters. Yeah, characters is a good word. First of all, in the booty chair, we got Uncle Percy. What's good, Doctor?
Bless you, son.
Oh, Lord Jesus, have mercy. And behind the ones and twos, we have Uncle Roy. What's up, man?
Hello.
Indeed, indeed. I actually have two remisses this evening. The first one is pretty fresh. I would be remiss if I did not celebrate the life of someone who I admired from afar. DJ Twitch. Most people know him from So You Think You Can Dance and being the DJ for the Ellen DeGeneres show. He committed suicide yesterday, or was that this morning? One of the two. And as a black man with a family and married and with responsibilities, I think it's important that we draw attention to the fact that our black men are holding a lot in, and our black men deserve the attention and deserve the willingness of someone to come up and ask them if they're okay. Twitch was on, I followed him on TikTok, and he was always smiling and dancing. He put a TikTok out 2 days ago, like literally right before his suicide, celebrating his anniversary. of 7 years to his wife. And whatever was going on in his life that he felt that he couldn't take it anymore and he needed to take his life, kind of hit me because seemingly he had it all. He was a DJ, he was a dancer, executive producer on the Ellen Show, executive produced her game show, Ellen's Game of Games. He was in movies, choreographer. I already mentioned he was a dancer. Yeah, it's important that we as black men, present company included, if there's ever anything out there that you need to discuss, find someone and discuss it. Do not hold that shit in because it will eat away at you. And there's a statistic out there right now saying that the largest group that has grown in suicides is black men. It's by like 80%. And brothers, it's hard out here. Married or not, single or not, family or not, working, whatever. It's hard. So please find the help that you need and deserve because no one wants to say goodbye to you prematurely. I don't know if you all have anything you want to speak on with that or
Percy?
Who was he? Because I really didn't follow him. So
he was on Ellen's talk show. He was the DJ on the talk show. And he came into prominence on the TV show So You Think You Can Dance around 2007, 2008. That was when he came into public prominence. He started DJing for Ellen full-time on her TV show in 2012, I want to say. And since then, like because he was a fan favorite, she hired him full-time to be the DJ on her TV show. And from there, he was in one or two of the Step Up movies. He hosted a couple of competition shows. He co-hosted with Ellen, her game show, Ellen's Game of Games. He was a TV director, producer, dancer, just all-around entertainment personality. Married with 3 kids. And yeah.
I've never watched none of those. I mean, I've never watched none of those shows. I mean, for anybody, for a black man, especially a black man who just committed suicide, and like you said, we really don't know what's going on in his life. And like you said, he just celebrated 7 years of marriage and with the 3 kids. I mean, we just don't know what was in his mind, what was in his heart. So I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for the family. And like you said, it's just rough out here. Especially during the COVID time.
For someone who seemingly had it all,
right? Which is very, very, very scary. You had it all. You were successfully well, and then the next thing you know, you just went ahead and killed yourself. I mean, like I said, we don't know what's going on in his head at the time. How many times we as married men have sat here and said, "Yeah, it's time to take my life." I've done it 3 or 4 times. So I kind of understand what he's going through, but like I said, you had everything going for you. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what was going on in his head. So just another person gone.
Yeah.
This is an interesting. I don't want to use the word interesting. This is an ironic situation. And it's one of the things that definitely going into 2023 that we as a network are really going to get back into. Is dealing with black men and mental health. The show right before this one, actually, Random Thoughts with DVP. He talks about the fact that he's been living with depression for years. And he's diagnosed depression. And so we have a lot of these conversations, but we really have to again. And I don't think people really. It's almost like we as men can never know what it's like to have a baby. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's something that we'll never understand. There's absolutely nothing that we can do that they can do to give us that. And although it's a physical thing versus a mental thing and a spiritual thing, I really don't think people understand the difficulty of being a black man in this country. I don't really think that they understand the levels of stressors that we deal with on a daily basis, and you have to be able to find things that you can hold on to a lot of times that help push you away from those things. You know, you need to find them, and even on some days you'd be like, damn it, I don't even want to deal with this. You know, there's always a question going around saying, you know, who do black men vent to? And we have very few people, and most of us have very few people that we believe that we can call on, and they can hear us without it becoming a judgmental situation, without that pain or that hurt that we're dealing with being used against us in some later date. You know, I really don't. It's you know, we're taught from a young. What do we tell young boys? Suck it up when they get ready to grow. Suck it up, boy. Suck it up, boy. Suck it up. You know. You know, rub some dirt on it. No, man. Don't cry. You know, and that was one of the things that I hope I did different. Well, I know I did differently. I tried to do differently with my son. Is that I let him. I'm like, no, man. If it hurt, cry. Let that out. Don't hold that in. Because I've been there where I've literally almost had a nervous breakdown, and having to step away and realize I've got to do something because me not being here is not an option. You know, and that's literally how I've had to live my life, especially the last 20 years. You know, it's you know, when, like Percy said, he's had that thought several times. I've literally had to condition my mind to say me not being here is not an option. That certain people, unless God just take me away, I can't do it myself. You know, and trying to avoid being in different situations. But you know, we don't. We've got to give. Black men have to learn. We can't learn it. You have to create spaces that brothers can become human. Because see, that's one of the things I don't think people realize. We are expected to be superhuman. We can never have a problem. Like I'm going to use this as probably a well, it's not a horrible example, but it's indicative of the thought process that people have. Because you know, I've been single for a long time, and I know this was one of the situations that I dealt with talking to women and stuff. Oh, a man needs to have his stuff together to talk to me. He got to be 100% together. He got to be when she's 33%, you know, or whatever it is. But the fact that we can't be that it's always expected of us that we are 100% together. It's like we don't have an option in being that, and I really don't think people understand that, because again, it's not something that you can experience. You know, black women are the belle of the ball. Everybody, you know, hell, even me, black women are everything. Love them to death. They're happy, and yes, they do have stressors, but again, the level of stress and the level of what we're expected to be and responsibility is, I think it's a different beast when you're talking about black men. And you know, it was crazy to me to see the guy. Like I didn't watch any Ellen stuff either. I didn't know he was, but just the fact that he's this 40-year-old guy, and you said you follow him, so you were saying it was 2 days. I know I saw something that said that he had just did his last TikTok like 24 hours before he killed himself. And so, you know, it's like, you know, he's married to a white girl. I mean, you know, that is what it is. But we don't know, you know, I'm curious to hear from his wife. And I want to know, because if you love somebody, like I can guarantee you with both of y'all wives, they'll know if something's wrong with you. If you talk about getting to a certain level, and we'll probably be like, oh, no, I'm fine. She'll be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But, you know, they usually ask, you know, does she have that kind of connection with him? Because again, her being a white woman is going to be completely different in the perception of how he lives and grows up and stuff. So, but I don't know.
You know what? Part of it's funny. Two examples of something that you talked about. The first, I had a conversation with my sons maybe not even a week ago, and I was explaining to them like the stuff our personal family has been through in the past maybe 3 or 4 years, and you both know what I'm talking about. And I told them I don't want it ever to seem like I'm this stoic monolith that never has any emotion. Like I've over the past 3 years I've broken down a few times,
Yeah,
and I needed to release those emotions, release that energy in order for me to heal.
that's right.
And I never want my black sons, who are grown men at this stage of the game, to think that they never, number one, that they never have someone to turn to. You can always call dad, and I will be judgment free, and I will listen to what you're saying. And number two, that it's okay to feel. It's
Yeah,
okay, like you said, Roy, and Percy, you said this too. As black men, sometimes we're expected not to feel. We're supposed to be stone cold killers all the goddamn time, and that's just not the case, especially in the world that we live in today. It's much more accepting for men, women, whoever to show their feelings, to have these emotions. But for us, it's harder to actually process them because we were taught not to.
yep.
And the second point is that my wife and I carpool to work, and I was driving. I just happened to literally I did this with my hand, stretch my hand out. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "What are you talking about, man? I'm just stretching my hand out. I'm wiggling my fingers." She said, "No, you normally do that. What's wrong?" I said, "Baby, I'm fine. You're good. I'm just wiggling my finger. I'm literally sat here, got a little stiff, decided I want to wiggle my finger." She said, "All right, well, you would tell me if something was wrong in the first place." I'm like, "I would, but in this case, I literally am just stretching my hand." But to your point, Roy, she was just like, "No, you're going to tell me I see the slightest thing, and
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that that's not something else that's happening." So yeah, that's I don't.
But
Yeah,
but
go
the
ahead.
other thing is the other thing is what Roy was saying is that you got to have space, you got to have outlets. So for my outlet, of course, is you and Tracy and Mike. You know, if
Hmm.
if anything that's really going on with me, I don't have to hesitate to pick up the phone and say, "Look, I'm about to blow up this motherfucker over here because he's talking shit, and you guys will just bring it down." Or it's like I can't take it anymore, that kind of stuff, and you guys
Hmm.
we'll hash it out, and vice versa. You'll call me, Tracy will call me. We do have that kind of outlet to talk to one another. Or when we get, or better yet, when we go, Roy, you gotta be part of this too. When we go, when you come to Chicago and we all go to Hooters and all we do is talk about life, not really watching. My wife probably not really watching the girls, actually talking about So yeah, yeah, and honestly, I think for the past uh, damn, John, how we know 37 years. I think
Yeah,
that's one
at
of the
least.
things. At least 37 years. At least that's one of the things I think that we have. You know, I guess is keeping us. They're keeping us sane right now. Because I
Yeah,
know there's been times when you was ready to do some things, been times I want to do some things, and time, Tracy wanted to do some things, and we had to come together, unite, and like I said, sit there and have conversation at Hooters and eat chicken wings. But by the end of the session, everything was good. Not talking to
man,
the not talking to the girl.
we've shut Hooters down a couple of times. Whenever
Yeah,
whenever I
yeah,
come back into town, we shut Hooters
yeah,
down. And I'm gonna tell you here on the interwebs, man, I appreciate you all's friendship because that does help keep me sane. And the fact that
yeah.
you and our other friends Tracy and Mike are there for me to vent and talk. And this forum here where we get to talk about you know, comics and movies and shit. And, we shoot the shit with Roy and DJ and Nicole and Rod. And that's a venting place as well. So, whatever you can find, please, black men, and I think I'm looking at the camera. Black men, find your space, find your place where you can vent and dump, and just not be judged,
And you know what?
because you have to have that.
And John, you know what? Here's the sad part. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people, and it's been hard for me because I can honestly say at this point that I have very few places that I can go um, and do that. I have very few people who I trust to be able to take what I'm dealing with and stick it in a box, and it ain't gonna show up somewhere else. It's not gonna show up in a conversation with some other people that ain't none of their business. You know, unless you unless you're telling, and I'm gonna give an example. Like, and a lot of people don't know this because I have kind of been, especially since my divorce. I moved away. My family, I'm nowhere near any family or any of that. Until my daughter moved here to go to school, I didn't have any family in Atlanta, and so I'm literally alone. I'm literally alone after the most traumatic situation in my life, trying to focus in. Like I said, I had to find something to focus on, which I put everything in Jericho, and the Black College Sports Network, and the business that I was doing. But you know, I know it took some situations for me to have to find somebody to call, and John has been that person. I've been able to call John and deal with him, and like I know because one, he's here, that it's been worked out. But even with him being here, say if I call John with something, he's gonna make the only phone call that John is probably gonna make is to Rod, because he knows that I've known Rod for 30 years, and he knows that Rod is probably the other person that can then mobilize some other people to come deal with whatever I got going on. I don't have to worry about John calling. And I'm gonna just use Percy. I'm gonna just use you sitting here as an example. I don't have to worry about John calling Percy and being like, "Man, let me tell you what just happened with this Joker." Calling me talking about it. Talking about he wanna just run off a bridge or something. He's tired of doing all this stuff. Him having the conversation, and he just talk about he's tired and all he do is sit around and be on the computer all day. I don't have to worry about that.
But here's the thing, Roy. Here's the thing that you don't understand. John will call me, and 9 out of 10, because you are my brother, I probably will try to call you.
That's the difference. That's what I'm saying. You miss what I'm saying. He wouldn't call you just to tell you about the situation. If he called you, he's going to be calling you, be like, "Hey, we need more people to check in on Roy. I need some other people to holler at Roy and just check up on him. Blah blah blah." It's not. Trust me, I know people who I will just be the topic of conversation at somebody's meeting for people who don't have a clue of who I am and can't do nothing to help me. And it be looked at like I'm some sort of like I said, just like we all don't want to be like we're looked at as being something less than of a man, because now I'm dealing with the emotions that I actually have inside. And I'm at a point where I don't know what to do. I'm at a place where I don't know how to handle it. And if I go to John and then, like I said, turn around and he at church testified about my situation. People like, dude, most black men, and it's a shame that most black men don't have that space. They don't have those people. They don't know that they have them. They haven't identified them. And you know what? I really think that that's one of the initiatives that we're going to start, and that's probably going to be one of the because I'm going to have to make an announcement before we get out of here tonight about our fundraiser, but that's one of the that's one of the initiatives that we've got to start. We've got to get that moving. Where black men have an opportunity to do some stuff to talk.
So let's make a pact. Let's make a pact right now. NerdCon 2023. We're all going to Hooters.
You know what? Check this out. No, and you know what, Percy? I agree. Let's do this. When it's all over and we have a chance to exhale, that's what we do. We get together and we go somewhere and decompress, because you know how much how stressful that whole thing can be, and you know how much work that goes into putting on a con like that. So that night or whatever, we get together and decompress. We do that. That sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, all right. So that's that PSA. Black men seek help. And I would also be remiss, and I gotta talk about this because I wish Rod was here because he's a football coach, and
He
I
said he was
desperately
on his
wanted
way,
his.
so
Yeah, I saw that. I desperately want his input as well as you, Roy, being the head of B Black College Sports Network.
oh,
Prime time in Colorado. So Prime time has left Jackson State. I guess he wasn't SWAC after all. Prime time has left Jackson State. I had that locked and loaded, Roy, because I knew that you would be appreciative of the fact of me saying that.
yeah,
But Deion Sanders is no longer the coach at Jackson State. He was there 3 years, correct?
2.5.
Right.
2.5. Okay. So
Because
prime time,
he came in
Deion Sanders.
January of that year.
Okay.
He did the
Okay.
spring semester. Yeah.
Got it. So Deion Sanders has accepted a head coaching job at Colorado University of Colorado. Is it
Yep.
Colorado University?
University of
Either one.
Colorado.
Anyway, somewhere out in
Buffaloes.
the fuck of the wilderness. And he's no longer coaching at an HBCU. He's now coaching at a PWI. For those of you who don't know, predominantly white institution. And I can't personally, my thought about this, I don't blame him. I think that, at first he wanted to coach at Florida State, if I'm not mistaken. And they told him no. And Jackson State offered him the job. With Colorado, he's making a ton more money. He brings some prestige to the program, and he's proven that he's a viable head coach of a football program. I wait with bated breath, Roy, for your opinion on this particular subject.
All right, so this is one of those things that is the proverbial double-edged sword. Um, because I'm gonna reach into it first as a black man. Um, Jackson State and everybody else knew that Dion's goal is to get to Power Five. He wants to get to Florida State. His ultimate job is the Florida State job. That's where he wants to be. Before that, Power Five. The issue was, John, like you said, he had no collegiate coaching experience. Forget head coaching experience. He had no collegiate coaching experience at all. Jackson State needed a flash in the thing. So this is one of those situations that should have been mutually beneficial on both sides. Dion got what he needed, which was the experience to show that his system can come in. Because Dion is not a football coach. Dion is a football CEO. He's Jimmy Johnson. He is your boy from the back in the day with the 49ers. He is a CEO. He is not the coach. He is a personality. He is a brand. He is the guy that brings all the attention to the program. And then he lets all the coaches do all the actual coaching. And the fact that this black man is getting them white folks to give him that kind of money, and he bringing brothers along with him, he bringing the brothers out there along with him. Again, I'm going to, as a black man, be like, kudos, do what you're doing, dude. I can't be mad at you for your come up. Cannot be mad at you for your come up. Honestly, I can't even be mad at the whole situation with Jackson State personally, because hell, even me from the outside knew what the hell he was doing. So how y'all didn't know that he was gonna get out of there on the first damn thing smoking with the right numbers? That's just straight ass ignorance for people to think that he was supposed to stay there. Now, as an HBCU, because even this isn't as bad, because I'm now looking at it from the other perspective, the other side of it, which is the quote unquote the Jackson State people who were pissed and the other HBCU people who were pissed. Dion manipulated that situation. He manipulated the fan base. and coming in and saying, first off, and I'll talk to somebody else. You see, this is the problem with too many of us as it is anyway. Somebody invoke God, and the first thing we do is like, oh yes, Lord Jesus, because Dion like God sent me to Jackson State. No, you went to Jackson State because they're the only damn people who would let you be a head coach with the limited to no experience that your ass had. That's why the hell you was at Jackson State. So first off, but again, that's not on him for believing that nonsense. That's on them people there. But what he did then do is he came in and he mustered all of the support. He mustered all of the following to get the things done that he needed to get done on the premise that he was going to be there to change the game. Now you can look at it and say theoretically he didn't lie. He did what he was talking about he was going to do over the course of them 2 years. Because the first half season, they wasn't all that great. The spring semester that they had the season, it wasn't anything special. Those weren't his kids. Those weren't ever. And see, this is the problem, though, that I told people that Jackson State is going to have. And the guy, T.C. Taylor, was Dion's guy. So, he was already on the staff. But who is a Jackson State guy? He was a former quarterback at the school. So this is probably his dream job. Just like Dion is trying to get back to Florida State. Him being the head coach of the team that he played quarterback for in college is probably his dream job. So that's great now. You've got somebody in there who actually cares about the history of the program. Because, see, that was another thing that a lot of people weren't paying attention to. Dion said on numerous occasions, I don't care about the tradition. I don't care about the damn tradition. And, well, anybody who's been engaged in HBCU sports and athletics understands one thing. Our history and our tradition are at the core of every damn thing that happens moving forward. And so when he didn't embrace that, that was the first thing that told me, like, look, I said initially I was going to give him 3 years. I was going to give him the 3 years to be there for his son to be in the Heisman talk, freshman, sophomore, and junior year. I thought he was going to leave after the junior year. I didn't think he was going to take his son with him, but now his son go with him. So, hey, there it is. So he's still going to be in that talk. But that's what has pissed a lot of people off, is that Dion came in talking about selling, as they said, selling wolf tickets about what he's going to do for the culture. Oh, this is all for the culture. We're trying to make this change for the culture, for the culture, for the culture. Well, no, you was doing this to pump up what you trying to do. And Dion is a transcendent athlete. And I told people, I said, you can look at the fact him and Eddie George got the job at the same time. Eddie George is getting none of the damn attention that Dion is getting. Because they're two different people, right? And I'm like, dude. And it's like, this is why I said I blame the fan base more. And the Jackson State fan base in particular, because the general HBCU fan base should have never been expecting Dion to be a savior for something that he has never been a part of. First off, Dion had a girlfriend at FAMU when he was at Florida State. I know because I knew her. So he would come over there and get his rocks off and then leave. So I know. Dion manipulates and uses the HBCU landscape just like everybody else has the entire time. And that's what this was. I mean, I've talked to people who've been in who were in rooms with meetings with him, and he was like, "Look, I get paid first, and whatever's left over, y'all can deal with Jackson State." Like, oh, and people talking about all the money that Dion is Dion. Of course, these companies want to be seen giving to a high-profile situation like what Dion's dealing with. So that's how he was able to do that. And again, everybody's not going to be able to do that. These other coaches don't have that ability. These other, even the ex-NFL players don't have that ability to do that kind of stuff. And so that part of me was, I always expected this to be a you using me for what I want or for what you want, I'm using you for what I want situation. I never anticipated Dion being there more than 4 years. 3 years actually from what I said. But because I have this philosophy, I say you can never be considered an all-time great somewhere unless you stay there for at least 5 years to me. And I mean, I don't care. I don't budge on that. So that's like people talk about something. So you mean to tell me that LeBron ain't one of your all-time great Heat players? Hell to the no. His ass would have stayed one more year, then yes. But he didn't. He went home. which I don't blame him for going home. But still, no, you're not an all-time great because you weren't there that long. You came and did
Right.
what you had to do, and and that was the main thing I told people. I said it was easy, and this is where it's going to be very interesting to see. And this is where him as a black head coach and having as many black assistant coaches on his staff as he does, that he is going to have to be able to still utilize that come play for a black man card. He still has it now. He still has it, and he can use it. But now he's got the ultimate resources. He got unlimited, money to do all the stuff like these other white boys do. So it's going to be easier for him to get, like, he flipped 1 5-star from Florida State in his 2 years at Jackson State. I guarantee you, in the next 4 months, Dion is going to flip at least 3 to 5 5-stars to come to Colorado.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed. Because now he got everything he need there. They got the money, they got the stuff. All that going to be there. And so they're going to now see what it is. And see, I told him, I said, but here's still the difference. He was able to be so successful at Jackson State because he just literally had superior talent. It was just like Jackson State became a PWI FCS program in those 2 years. He just had talent that was that much better. But even last year, that's why he lost, because it's a different style of football in the MEAC. That's why South Carolina State was able to do what they did with them last year. And people, nobody's giving North Carolina Central a chance in this game Saturday. Bruh, I'm telling you, they are physical, and they are not used to dealing with physical teams like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how North Carolina Central attacks them when they get to them. But, I mean, Dion did what was best for Dion. Again, I can't be mad at him because of that. He did what he did. And people who believe that he was trying to be some kind of savior, that was just them sticking their head in the dirt expecting something that they damn it shouldn't have been expecting. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, you good. You got that. That's good stuff, man. That's what I wanted to. I know the story is a little old now, but I wanted to bring this up because I wanted your perspective. Percy, how you feel about all this, man?
All I gotta say, kudos to Deion Sanders. It's his brand. Primetime. Primetime came into Jackson State. He did what he had to do to get where he wanted to go. Actually, I was kind of offended when he did his speech at Colorado and basically told the whole football team to start packing their bags and start getting on the transfer portal. I was like, damn.
He did that at Jackson State. He did that at Jackson State in the spring. He did the same thing. The only difference is he went through a spring with them, as opposed to just walking in the door being like, yeah, y'all can get on here the hell on out.
Because I'm like, damn, at least give him a chance to do some trials or something. He was like, no, you guys are gone because I'm primetime and I know I'm about to get 4 or 5 people. They're gonna come towards me because now I'm over here. But here's the problem I have with
Person, real quick. Hold on, Kurt. Person, real quick before you get into your point. But you do realize that Colorado only won 1 game last year, right?
What? But here's the problem I think he's going to have in Colorado. He got to still deal with those white folks. Those white folks ain't going to let him come in and change that whole entire program into an African-American program. He's going to have to bring in some white folks. He's going to realize that those booster fans, those boosters, the ones that he didn't have at Jackson State, the one who actually do come and donate.
Well, the ones who pay his salary.
Exactly. They're going to tell him, he thinks he's going to be like, I'm primetime, I can do whatever the hell I want to do. And they're going to check him real quick and say, no, son, we run this. I think he's going to have a problem with that. He might win some games, and he might give him over quote to the promised land. But I'm telling you, those boosters, those white boosters, are going to check him. And Lord, don't let them lose. Don't have a bad season. They're going to check him, and the media's going.
Percy, if he wins, and listen, he's bringing in white. Now, don't get it twisted. Like I said, he's bringing in white coaches. It's like his whole staff isn't black guys. He's only got like 5 or 6 5 or 6 coaches that are black, and most of them, if I'm not mistaken, are from the HBCU ranks. And he's got like 5 or 6. Like he's pulled white coaches from Alabama. He will put it this way: he's pulled 4. I'm not 5. I know at least 4 white coaches from SEC powerhouses. Like we're not talking about Vanderbilt bottom feeders. We talk about the top programs in SEC. He's pulling white folks, so he's gonna get that. The players, they've never cared about the players. The only way it's going to make a difference is if you've got a 4 or 5 star white athlete who has ties to Colorado. There's going to be an expectation that that kid needs to be there. Like if his dad or somebody or parents, somebody went to school. But no, dude, long as he winning, them people, them folks ain't going to say nothing. They ain't gonna say nothing. They gonna be like, because that was part of the deal that he actually had. He actually has complete control over football operations. Like that was one of the things that he had to have to even go there.
And I understand that, but I'm telling you, it's a little bit different from, because one of the biggest arguments is with HBCUs is, yes, Deion Sanders came in, he changed, everybody thought he was going to be a savior, and now they're looking for the next NFL star to come in and take over or whatever, and our other HBCUs are going to duplicate what he did at Jackson State, and the answer is going to be no. And then the other question, the other problem is like what everybody keeps saying, why are these schools going bankrupt? Why are they saying in the next 10 years that HBCUs are going to be in trouble? Because we don't have the funding or the money. Why is that? Why we don't have the black support from all these alumni to keep these programs going? That's the thing that everybody's been trying to focus. Like, who's going to be the next savior? I'm like, there is no next savior. It's all of us. If we don't donate to United Negro College Fund, or we don't donate directly to the school, and I'm talking as a parent now since I have a son that goes to HBCU, and I kind of get it.
A&T don't count because they're trying to get away from being an HBCU.
Well, hey, you know.
They really are. Their coach. They're about to make an announcement. They're losing their coach.
Oh, wow. But you know what? Let me jump in real quick. I equate this to the WNBA, and I'll tell you why. The WNBA for the longest is crying that they don't have money to pay their players, they don't have the resources, ... The issue is men and women support the NBA. Men in particular, it's a male-dominated, it's a male league. So men want to see the NBA, buy the merchandise, so on and so forth. The WNBA should be supported by women. Most of the people who support the WNBA are men. I know for a fact that I'm a fan of basketball, period. So, yes, the WNBA has male fans, but there need to be a lot more women to support that, because you're looking at the dollars from your fans. Men will go out and buy a Bulls jersey. Ain't no man going out to buy a Chicago Sky jersey. I would, because I'm just a fan and I want to support the women. But you're looking at the average NBA fan isn't going to buy WNBA merchandise, isn't going to buy season tickets like that. So the WNBA is crying about money. I hate to say this, probably sounds sexist, but women need to support the women. The women need to come out and support the WNBA. And I say that I equate that to the HBCUs. Black people took notice when Deion went to Jackson State. So now he's brought that attention. He made a big splash. Like you said, Roy, he's not necessarily a football coach. He's a football salesman. And I totally agree with that, because my favorite NFL team had a football salesman the one time they went, the one Super Bowl win that they have, which was Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka wasn't a good head coach. He was a good football salesman. That's perfect. Mm-hmm. So now black people need to rally around that HBCU sports, because we've seen Deion come in and make that success. Will black people continue to watch? I know for me, I'm going to try and continue to support them, because I didn't necessarily support them before. So now I'm on board. Now I'm going to stay there. Deion has brought me on board. I can honestly say Deion has brought me on board. So the people who the
And
sport
you
are
work with the
geared
Black
for,
College Sports
those
Network.
people, right, exactly. The people who the sports are geared for, those people need to support. Go ahead, Percy.
No, I was just gonna say, is this gonna be a Marvel moment or is it gonna be a DC moment? Which one is gonna be?
You know what, Percy? You know what? That is literally a perfect analogy. This is
Yeah.
the start of the MCU versus the
Mm-hmm.
start of the DCEU.
Yeah.
But and you know the funny.
Yeah.
So here's the funny thing though, and I was on a post talking to people about this the other day. What people have to realize is that, and I'm one of them. There are people who've literally been saying all of the same things that Dion has said for 20 years. I've literally been in this business saying the same exact things that Dion has been saying, but nobody hears me because I'm not prime time. To your point, and that's what he did. Dion was a spotlight. That's what he was. The perfect analogy, he was a spotlight. So everything that he did, they paid attention to. Everything that he said, they paid attention to. To use an example, the game in Memphis that they do, the state fair. No, that's state fair is in Dallas. I forget what the name of the classic is, but it's in Memphis, Tennessee. One of the things that I have literally been saying for the past 15 years is that the schools do not need to have promoters at this point running classics for them. Because see, what people don't realize about the classic model is actually the bowl model that was taken. The classic model, the bowl model that they have is actually the classic model that they took and started doing stuff with. Classics work. Classics will work for the school. But the issue is that when you've got somebody who's saying, okay, I'm going to put up the money for the game and I'm going to take most of it, well, then the schools aren't getting what they need out of it. And that's why I said they don't need that today. Because you have municipalities who, because most of these cities, the municipalities own the stadiums. Right? So you go, and the SWAC has done it with Birmingham. They actually did it with the city of Birmingham. You go to the city and say, we're going to bring a game to you. Here is where we start at. This is the base. You have to cover the hotels for both teams and their bands, and you're going to give us a payout, or we get the revenue from the gate. It's got to start off. That's the base thing that you've got to start off with. And now you shaking your head. I need to know what you shaking your head no for on this one. As Rod
we can't hear you, Rod. What's up, Uncle Rod?
So, but my point is, and the reason that you do that, because the cities are going to make all of their money on hotels and restaurants. They know that. Believe me.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, we can. So why are you shaking your head? Let me get you.
No, man. First off, hey everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Uncle Rod is in the building, everybody. Welcome, Uncle
What's
Rod,
up,
the
everybody?
Five-Borough Ronin. What's good, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to see everybody back in the house. I just came in and people was talking about HBCUs and stadiums. I said, oh, somebody talking about stealing money.
Oh, see, no, we weren't. We weren't even at that.
Oh, okay.
We didn't get into that.
Didn't get that far yet. Okay.
No, we're not even getting into that, because that's a whole nother situation. Because even that was to me, when he said what he did. One, it shows his ignorance on how money works going into the schools anyway. With him never having worked at a college before, and especially HBCUs, when money comes into the school, regardless, 9 times out of 10, it goes into the general fund, and then it is moved and sent to specific areas where it's supposed to go. So that's a whole nother issue.
Okay. The James Otis Hall is on fire already. It's coming to do an aiming.
Yeah, I
Colorado.
saw that. James Otis Hall wasn't playing. So Rod, I'm happy you're here, man, because I wanted your honest opinion on the whole primetime in Colorado thing. And,
okay.
You know,
right.
Has he proven that he wasn't SWAC, or what's up?
Okay. Look, I'm a FAMU Rattler, born and bred. FAMU Rattler till I'm dead. I'm not SWAC. We just happen to be in the conference right now.
Yeah, we got 5 years before we
okay.
SWAC.
We just there right now. We just doing our thing because, you know, the MEAC went where it went. But You know what? I'm kind of torn on that situation because, and on one hand, I can see him wanting to better his situation, right? And he said from the beginning, he told those people from the beginning, if a Power Five comes to me, I'm gonna talk to him. So
He said
it's not
he
like
said it in the
yeah,
60 Minutes interview.
yeah. It's not
Well,
like he was. It's not like he was lying to him or he was trying to lead him
He
on. He
never
said,
hide
"Hey,
nothing.
yeah, if a Power Five come, I'm talking to him." But it also, I was kind of hoping he would stay because what he was doing to raise the profile of HBCU sports and HBCUs in general, I think was really, really helpful. And I think was really helping to build the brand. I really feel like had he stayed maybe a couple more years, I was hoping what would happen was that he would stay a couple more years and maybe get a couple other former players in the league or assistants in the league that's not getting a shot at being a head coach in the NFL to come and then head up some of these other HBCU programs. And the more guys we have with that kind of pedigree at HBCU programs, the more players we get of that higher caliber, and hopefully, facilities get upgraded, dorms get upgraded, fields get upgraded. But I know that there will be a lot of resistance to that simply because a lot of HBCUs will say our mission is to educate and not create an athletic powerhouse. So I know already right off the bat that's going to be an issue for a lot of old guard HBCU people. So
Yeah,
I know
that's true.
I kind of understand why he did it, but I was wishing that he didn't. Like I'm not hating on the man. I'm just saying I just wish he had stayed. That's all.
Yeah, like I said, you know what? And it's funny you say that because one of the things. So, like, here's one of the things a lot of other folks don't know. Mo Williams, the top 10 draft pick in the NBA from Jackson, Mississippi, is the head basketball coach at
Right.
Jackson State. Just
Right.
did
See, I
a
didn't know
video.
that.
Just did a video today, and it's you know what? I'm not even gonna just say. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. But he talks about the real issue behind this, and this is where we have to come in as Yep, there it is here. This is where we have to come in as the HBCU fan base. And this is the thing that's the real about this situation is that Dion was never going to be a savior because, again, from my estimation, this was about Dion. Dion was doing what Dion needed to do for him. Like Ross said, I can't be mad at him, just like I said. Can't be
And
mad
you
at
can't
Dion for
and you
nothing.
can't be mad at him because if he came in the door saying that, you
Right.
can't be mad at him
You
for
can't
doing what he
have
said he
no
was going to
issue.
do.
You have no right. You cannot be mad. But here, let's take a listen at this video real quick, and this will give you the real issue with where we are right now.
I'm not interested in moral victories. It's just showing up. We understand who we're up against. It's going to be a tough task, to say the least. But at the same time, I'm asking our fans to show up. I'm asking for our fans to fill that building up. Because when I look up, and I've been going to Jackson State football games since I was 6 years old, that I can remember, and that vet is sold out every single Saturday I'm in there. Every single Saturday. And if I'm not mistaken, it's about 50, 60,000 seats in that thing. And we're talking about a basketball facility that holds 6 to 7 to 8 to 10,000. And all I'm asking is 5 to 6 to 7 to 8,000 of that 60,000 that support our football team every single Saturday to show up for us. Because I'm telling you guys, that's the biggest difference in us winning the game we don't supposed to win, and that's the difference in us winning the game convincingly that we supposed to win. And this is a night, tomorrow night, where we need bodies in seats. We need the support. We need to be louder than the Mississippi State fan. You never know, and you have no idea or the slightest idea the impact a fan can have on our team, how much energy that gives us, how much energy that takes away from the opposing team. So I'm asking, almost telling, we need that stadium, Coliseum, filled up tomorrow. And when we come for swag play, guys, we have 9 home games in SWAC play. 9. We got a 6, 7, 8,000 seater in this thing at the AAC. We need bodies and seats. We need support. We need people to be there. We need you in the building. That's the most important thing. You guys can help us. You are our sixth man. We need you guys.
This is the issue that a lot of people don't realize that functions in the HBCU landscape. And so there's a Rod, I'm sure you've heard this, and I have to tell people stop saying it. And everybody knows me. I'm FAMU. I am HBCU proud, HBCU strong, every day of the week, twice on the weekends. But damn it, stop saying that the SWAC is the SEC for HBCUs. No, the hell we are not. Let me tell you why we are not. We did the research on this, and this was 5 years ago. Dude, when I tell you that there were 4 SEC teams that had 10-year waiting list to get on the damn waiting list for season tickets. All 4 of those stadiums, all 4 of those schools had stadiums that sat over 80,000 damn people. Ask me how many HBCUs have sold out their season tickets for football. No damn body. Nobody. No, motherfucker, we are not the SEC of HBCU football. We ain't nowhere near it. Because Jackson State has the largest stadium at 60,000. The average size of the damn stadiums at HBCUs is 15.
Well, I can tell you, Coach Peterson was not lying when he said there's 60,000 people in that stadium cheering for Jackson State. Because in the 90s, when I was on the coaching staff as a graduate assistant, there was 60,000 strong. They were loud and strong, and they got quiet as hell when we whooped that ass.
Fam, goddamn you. Okay, but we'll let that go.
But he has an excellent point, and you made a point too about trying to compare what we have to the SEC. I think that it's possible that we could be that. But I think, again, structurally, a lot of stuff needs to change. First off, for those schools that are state schools, they need to get the money they're supposed to be getting from their states in which they reside. That's number one. That's a huge political battle. So many schools have been ridiculously underfunded for years, and no one's been able to do anything about it. And it's money that's supposed to go to them. That's the crazy thing about it. So once you start there with them getting the money they're supposed to get, number one, then as I mentioned before, if you can get a situation where you can attract a coach with a name who can then attract players and then get wins to get people in seats, it's a domino effect. It's all cyclical. You got to get one before the other.
Rob, but one of the things to say what you said though, one of the biggest challenges that we have with HBCUs is that the schools, the administration has to stop being anti-athletics. And right. I've had a discussion with several HBCU presidents, and I asked them one question. I said, do you really think that the president of Alabama cares that Nick Saban makes more money than he does?
He's the highest paid government employee in the state.
Yeah. I said, do you realize the level of other stuff that has come to that school because of that football program? The president talked about, I saw an interview, he was like, everything has increased for us. Our student enrollment, our student applications, our research funds, our grants that we got, all of that was a result of what happened on the football field. And it's like, that's what we keep forgetting, that we say it all the time, athletics is the front porch to your school. That's 9 times out of 10 what people see. That's why, personally, to give you an example, because your son's at A&T now, right?
Right.
I'll never forget talking to the coach at A&T after they won the first Celebration Bowl that they won. He said they were talking with people in the administration. They won in December that first time they won. He said in January they had 40% more applications than they had ever gotten in the school's history. That
People
next
attend
month,
schools based on their football program
based on the
success.
football program success. And it's just like, are y'all missing how this could be important to y'all? Because the reality of it is, after you get past the Power Five conferences, the HBCUs have the best revenue generator model out of all of the other schools, FCS and Division Two. Because if you look at it, a lot of these FCS programs have literally just been playing football for 30 years. So you're in your first, maybe your second generation of your fan base. We've been playing football for 100 damn years at most of the HBCUs. Great grandma was a cheerleader for FAMC. So we got generational fans. That's why we can fill stadiums. That's why when you look at the FCS playoffs and they got they got 3,000 people in the stands for the division or the FCS final game. Like the damn championship game. 3,000 damn people. And it's just like they don't have the ability to make money like we do, but we are capitalizing on it as HBCUs.
So what is
Go ahead.
the issue? Why can we not fill these stadiums? Like Roy, you brought up that Eddie George is now an HBCU coach. I didn't know that shit.
He been at NC State for 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Wait,
I didn't know
hold
that
up,
shit.
hold up. Did you know Hugh Jackson was at Grambling?
That I did know.
Okay.
That I did know.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's like that's there's a discrepancy in promote. Is it promotion? Is it that once again when we're looking at alumni, we're looking at black people in general who will support these other major colleges, but won't come back and support these HBCUs. Where does the answer lie? I guess is what I'm asking.
Roger, you want to say something on that before I get into it? Because of course I have an opinion on that.
Yeah, of course. I'm just gonna put it this way. Black people are just like everybody else in that they want to support winners. There aren't a whole lot of people who I know that will try to get in on the ground level, so to speak, and support a team or a cause or what have you. They kind of want to jump in when everything is set. For people who are alums of those particular schools, of course they're going to show up. Well, a lot of them will show up. But then again, you have a lot of people that won't for various reasons. Some people still have like a beef with the school because they got a parking ticket and they put their stuff on hold. But some people are going to still have a beef about something. One of the things that I see, and I'll just be honest with you, is that the production quality on a lot of these things looks as if it is like bargain basement, and that turns people off. That's why, in my mind, and I know we might have discussed this before one time, but I really feel like the HBCUs need to get together and make a super conference, and they need to find a way to get a contract with a major network so that they can be shown across the country.
So y'all need to start really paying more attention to what's going on with the Black College Sports Network.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
We'll
I know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Trust me.
I get what you're saying. So let me let you finish. I'll just jump in.
But yeah, and do it in a way that, okay, so now you promote this conference, this super conference, right? You take some teams from the MEAC so that you basically going from the East Coast all the way down through Florida into the Gulf, all the way into Texas, right? You have games on a weekly basis, like good matchups, right? You have a championship game at the end of the season, but you have that championship game before the beginning of the FCS playoffs, regardless of whether or not you want to go to that bitch or not. Because if some people want to go, they need to have the ability to go. They need to be able to have that flexibility. You can still have your bowl game or whatever, and you call that bowl game your championship game. Then, if they win it, they have a chance. If they have a chance to go to the FCS playoffs at large or as conference champion or whatever, then they do that. But I really feel like they need to get together and almost have like everything is all the risk and all the reward is shared throughout everybody in the conference. And when you make money, you funnel that money into the programs at first, like maybe over a 5 year period. You funnel money into the programs that need it the most, like the programs that got dirt fields, the programs that got old ass weights, you know, that that you can't really use, the programs that, you know, their student center is horrible, or they need dorms, or the shit is leaking, whatever. You funnel it through them first. And then as the money cycles through and everybody gets better facilities, now everybody gets kind of more on an equal playing field. And then you could really start making money, because now you have a product that's worth watching, because now everybody has gotten a chance to get better. You see what I'm saying? And you get a uniform deal with one company for that whole conference. I don't know one clothing company or one sportswear company that wouldn't jump at a chance to be the official uniform maker for 16 teams.
So I'm sorry.
Go ahead, man.
No.
Go ahead.
And I'm glad because the funny part about it is I literally agree with 90% of everything that you said. I think that, and that's part of the plan that I've been telling people. They need to do things more collectively. It needs to be a collective effort for the HBCs to move in, because, like I said, they actually have the biggest revenue generating possibilities. Other than that, the problem is, and this is where the issues on the school's campuses come from, where these academic people are here not knowing how athletics work. I'm gonna use the last point that you said to start off with, where you talk about the fact that they would, I guarantee you, if the right negotiator, hell, send me in to negotiate the damn deal for the SWAC, the SWAC at who they are right now. Damn, you know what? Damn the SWAC, the SIAC, the Division II Black College Conference. Let me negotiate y'all apparel deal, because that's the first thing that would start off. Is that I'm walking in and I'm saying to them, I'm saying to Nike, I'm saying to Under Armour, I'm saying to Reebok, I don't give a damn. I'm saying to every last one of them, here's what you're going to do. We have 14 schools. You are going to provide every program with at least 2 sets of jerseys. Every program. Not football. Not every football program. Not every basketball program. Not every baseball program.
So you want department wide?
Damn team on every campus is going to get at least 2 uniforms from y'all free of charge, because that's how it's supposed to start off. And the next thing is, after that, you're going to give us a 75% discount on the next 2 sets of damn jerseys we're getting. You laughing? Let me tell you why it makes sense for them. Because the reality is, they don't make that deal that they do with the SEC. They don't make money off the damn schools. They make money from the merchandising. People buying the actual replica fucking jerseys that cost $125.
Correct.
Because they know they're gonna make the money. But the problem is,
and in NIL deals, they have to get an NIL deal so the kids can make money off of that.
We ain't even got that right. But the black colleges are afraid to go in and flex that kind of power, because they don't understand how apparel deals actually work. So this is what actually happens. They'll go the SEC. We won't even say the SEC. Damn it, we'll say the Big South. The Big South goes in and gets free jerseys for all their teams. What the MEAC goes in and ends up getting is the MEAC comes in and say, okay, well, you're gonna give us a 25% discount on the jerseys that we now have to buy from you. That's what an apparel deal is for them. And then they still get it. We are afraid to go in and flex the muscle that we have in these situations. We already know that black people spend more damn money than anybody else. So y'all know they're going to buy the jerseys. You know they're going to support the thing. So
I'm going to tell you right now, in terms of overall quality and durability and all those other good things, number 1 is Nike. Number 2 is Nike. And number 3 is Under Armour.
Well, so wait a minute. So does that mean
I love Under Armour's apparel. Their shoes are questionable, in my opinion.
So wait. So does that mean it's Nike, Jordan brand, LeBron brand, Nike, and then Under Armour?
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, see that. But that's what I'm saying. The HBCUs have been so afraid, and this is also another thing that Dion did that only a Dion could do. And you know what? I won't say only a Dion can do. If Eddie George was a bigger personality, I think and I don't mean a Dion type, just a bigger. Eddie George was always a laid back guy. You need some folks out there who are going to be boisterous. So either Eddie George needs to become that, and he needs to not be afraid to say what needs to be said, because he is still Eddie George, so he should be able to do that. Hopefully Hugh Jackson will get to that level once he rights the ship that he's trying to do at Grambling. But you just have to have people come in there and be willing to say, this shit y'all doing ain't fair. How, why? But like I'm sure that why Mississippi State ain't paying for no uniforms and I got to pay for my uniforms. What the hell is this? You know,
Or at least like deferring for a couple of years or something. But something has to be done because I promise you, if you get conference wide, everybody's getting nice looking stuff and not stuff with the porthole mesh like an old school in the '80s.
dude, they were. I was talking to somebody about that the other day because of one of the deals that we were working through, and they were like, I forget what school it was, but they were talking about it was an SEC school, literally had a $10 million apparel deal. And that's the start of that apparel deal is that the schools don't pay for any uniforms.
Now let me ask you this. And then I guess we got to move on because the time.
We ain't got none of them trailers.
I was gonna say I'm looking at the clock. I'm looking at the
blown
clock.
through the schedule. It doesn't matter at this point. We've blown through the
And
schedule.
look, I got all of them queued up too, so we doing all these damn trailers tonight.
So look, T. Boone Pickens, right? T. Boone Pickens, the corporate giant. A long time ago, in probably like late '80s, early '90s, he donated to his alma mater, which was Oklahoma State, $80 million just for the athletic program to get Oklahoma State like current with everybody else because they were getting their ass kicked, right? So at that point, Oklahoma State then became more relevant in their conference. Is there a black person or are there a group of black people who can get even close to that for one school?
Herschel Walker.
So,
Herschel Walker don't even have $80 million in monopoly money. He probably thinks that's real money.
Yeah, that's. You know what? So you know the funny part about you saying that, and I don't know what the issue is with her, but Oprah went to Tennessee State.
She did.
Oprah's a Tennessee State grad with Eddie George. So like, I'm curious, has Eddie George reached out to Oprah? I'm like, that would have, listen, I'm fucking Eddie George. I'm calling Oprah when I get the head coaching job at your alma mater. Oprah, what's the deal? You hadn't done a whole lot. What kind of support can I get? What can we get you to do for us here at the football program to help get us back on track?
Can you film a documentary about us and put it on your network?
Do something, right?
That goes back to what you were saying about Deion Sanders being a football salesman as opposed to a football coach.
Yeah.
We've got, at the end of the day, Nick Saban is a football salesman as well. He's got the product, and he's out there selling his product, and he's selling these dreams to these young men.
That's why his ass didn't make it in Miami. He's not a damn coach.
Oh Lord. Well, I mean, there's some truth behind that, but I'm saying if you want at the end of the day, the HBCUs need bombastic personalities to put them in a position where people will want to check out their product.
No, we don't. We need the biggest. And this is my opinion. No, listen to what I'm saying. My opinion that the biggest challenge that HBCU have is the adversarial relationship between the academic side and the athletic side.
And the athletic side, I think that is huge.
That is the biggest problem. And I'm going to give you a prime example of where it works at. When you get a president, Edward Waters University, when you get a president who is an athletics supporter / we literally call this dude the super fan. Because even when we were doing Edward Waters games, he was like all in the refs worse than he got a kid on the team. Like he almost got threw out the gym a couple of times. Literally, the president. But he supports athletics and gives them the things that they need to be successful. And they have made the transition from Division II, from NAIA to Division II. and they are
But
doing
you don't
very
think
well.
that you don't think that along. Okay, so you don't think along in hand that coach needs to be able to sell that program as well.
No, I didn't say the coach doesn't need to be able to sell a program, but I'm saying you don't have to have a Dion personality to make it work. You
But
need,
Dion's once in a lifetime shit.
well, right, but
You ain't gonna
but
get no other Dion.
that's my
Yeah, I
point.
think he's an outlier. A liar. I think
He's
people need to stop kind of comparing anybody else to him.
to Dion.
'cause
That's
he's
what I keep
definitely
telling.
an outlier.
He is a transcendent athlete
Absolutely.
that speaks across so many different levels. But no, it's the issue with the administrators not supporting athletics the way that they should. That is the biggest challenge that black people have or HBCUs have, because we're afraid to say, oh, now we're just putting out athletes. No, man. Because even if you don't go, even if kids come there, most of the time, those kids are going to graduate. They're gonna unless you're at a Power 5, and we're not gonna get. Listen, we're not gonna get to the Power 5 level. It's just not gonna happen. Because again, I go back to that research that we did. Because Tennessee was one of those teams. Even when Tennessee ain't good, they still got 100,000 people in that stadium.
Because you can pull up to the stadium in a boat, you can get drunk as hell, and then walk into the stadium. Lit.
It don't matter the reason why. They got 100,000 damn people doing it every week. We don't have anybody whose home games are like that. Not even Jackson State. I'll tell you, like, people talk about all this stuff. Man, look, in 2015, 2016, Jackson State was averaging 14,000 damn people in that 60,000 seat stadium.
But I will say
like
this
Rod
though,
said,
if you
they
get the
win
talent,
when they winning will start everything.
yeah,
But
when you and to win, you need talent. So it's all cyclical, like I was saying before. When you get talented guys in there, when you can get a pipeline and you can get 2 or 3, maybe between 3 and 7 years, and that's how long it would take of constant, consistent ESPN 300 top 500 players from all around the country. If you can get consistent recruiting classes like that in all HBCUs around the country, then it's going to be different.
Well, you know what, but Rod,
that's a hard thing to ask.
You're never going to get it at all of it, and that's what we have to stop thinking about it. Because look at the SEC, look at the ACC. Who the hell wants to go to Duke if you're not playing basketball? Because we're talking about football.
Well, hold up.
Who cares
People
about
go to Duke
Vanderbilt?
to play football. Well, people were going to Duke to play football when David Cutcliffe was there.
But that's my point.
The thing with him was he was able to get guys into the league.
But see, that's my
because
point.
of his contacts and because he was a damn good coach.
Everybody doesn't have to have that.
Mitch
You gotta have
Trubisky.
you've got to have your top. Like here's what has to happen, and this is what should happen in the SWAC over the next few years. The next few years, FAMU, because it's going to be better for everybody. FAMU's been good, but it's going to be better for them when FAMU was at the top. And us and Jackson State are going back and forth with each other. And now that Dion's gone, I think the extra little edge that they had with getting players is going to make a difference. I think that you're going to look at it. We're going to be going back and forth with Jackson State as being the top, representing the Celebration Bowl. And the funny thing is, they always wanted FAMU in the Celebration Bowl. And we just went through all our stuff and never got there. That's a whole nother show. But as they start doing that, because I think they do need to do a super conference. That was one of the suggestions that we made a long time ago. It's a Division I super conference. And stop worrying about trying to be FBS and dominate the FCS. But Rod, the plan, this was the 90% that I agree with you at. What they have to do is when they make it and put it in place, because I think when we did the numbers, they got up to 20 teams, right? Is what we said. They would end up with
a lot of damn teams.
It is, but all you got to do is break it into 5-team divisions. You automatically have a built-in playoff system for your championship game, and you can do bowl games after that. I said, but the thing is, what you said is the main key. They have to bring every school up to a minimum standard of facilities for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to do like pro leagues do. They have to have a revenue sharing model.
They have, well, and that's part of it. That's the whole thing. Because you think, but just like you said, if you got 20 teams, I should be able to walk into, just like we talk about the apparel. I should be able to walk into. I should be able to sit the five major airlines down in front of me and say, all right, here's the deal. I've got these five teams. These are where these teams have to travel to in each of our four divisional pods. We've got five teams, and they need to go back and forth throughout the year. There's some teams are going to need to go a little further to do certain
Who
things.
wants to be the official airline of our conference?
Who wants to be the official airline? Because you paying for all of these flights right here, but we doing everything else. When again, black, it is statistically been shown in all research, black people are already the largest spenders in an affinity market. The college fan base is the most loyal affinity marketing group there is in the country. Every piece of research says that if you want to get people to support your product or your service, you support the colleges that those people are a part of. So Delta, say it's Delta. Black people will fly Delta to the hilt if everybody at HBCU will be on a Delta flight going every damn where if they knew that they supported the HBCUs to that level.
Well, what you do is you get a sticker, or you get a wrap of different schools on the plane.
But that's just another part of it. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you do stuff like this, like the Celebration Bowl is coming here, all them people coming out of the major cities coming into Atlanta, the Rattler Air train is coming from Miami, filled with people. Coming from Chicago, filled with people. You know, it can be done, but the key thing is we have to work together. We have to be willing to stand together in a united front, and that's been another one of our challenges, is that we don't want to stand together.
Again,
you know what, and I wanted to make this point too, and I'm not even sure. I realize how petty this may sound. What's the name of the bowl in New Orleans? Grambling.
No, it's the Bayou Classic. It's not a bowl.
Bayou Classic.
Bayou Classic.
Okay.
Bayou Classic.
The Bayou Classic. So I was watching Grambling and Southern, and I ain't gonna lie, they look dusty as hell. they were not aesthetically pleasing to the eye by any stretch of the imagination.
Are you talking about the broadcast quality or the uniforms or what?
I'm talking about the uniform.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The uniforms and the play too. The play was subpar as well, but. I'm like not even trying to be funny because I'm not into college sports like that. But if I'm an athlete, I'm looking at them. I don't want to play there because their uniforms are trash. You know what I'm saying? Grambling looked really cool. Their uniforms with the black and the gold with the red highlights, they look good. But Southern looked raggedy, like a Park District team. And that of it, I'm agreeing with everything you all are saying. The money has to be behind it. There has to be a push to make it look good. Dion brought up a very good point. Mamas want to see their children's names on the back of their jerseys, and a lot of these schools don't have their names on the jerseys as well. I mean, shit. Put the names on the jerseys. Give them some good gear, like you said. Put the airlines in front of them. Who wants to be the official sponsor? I think all of that is good. So, Roy, you need to be in front of somebody's. Headlining this meeting.
Believe me, we're already planning some meetings with different people, and we're trying to get some things in place because the issue, and I've always said, I think the biggest challenge is that people are afraid to say this to some of these people.
Now, you know what else is wild? I just realized both of those schools, I think, are Nike schools, right? But their uniforms, but their uniforms, like Nike has different tiers, different levels to quality to their uniforms, right?
Yes.
Gramblings
and you saw it in that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gramblings were probably about tier 2.
Well, yeah, and again,
and Southerns were tier 3.
And again, the challenge
Southern was tier 4.
And again, the problem is they're paying for those uniforms. An apparel deal, they should not be paying. No college. Well, let me put it this way. At least, at worst, at the FCS level, no college at the FCS level, no black college should be paying for their uniforms. They should not be paying for their uniforms because their money should be made back on the backside of the manufacturer being able to have the rights to sell the replicas and to sell the official jerseys. And that's one of the reasons our budgets are so tight, because so much of our money has to go for uniforms. People don't
Well,
realize. See, that's
not
what I said.
only
There's
not
so much stuff people don't realize.
not only uniforms, but just equipment in general. People don't
Right.
realize what kind of a budget you need
That's right.
to do reconditioning for helmets, to do reconditioning for
Mhm.
pads, replacing pads, all those other things. That stuff costs a grip, man.
Yeah.
Football is an
That's
expensive
easily
ass sport.
Just
Real
yeah,
talk.
just
that's
football
that could
alone,
be
right?
easily into the millions for certain programs.
Yeah.
And you got 50 motherfuckers on the field
Now you got
for
more than
one
Oh no
that.
no
You
team.
no
got
no.
more than that.
D1 you have 62 scholarships.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So
It's
you
like
may
you
have
got a million
80 people. I
motherfuckers
think
on the
it's some
field.
teams that have up to 80. I think they can have up to 80 athletes
Yeah.
on football teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I mean, they like I said that, and we're like I said, we are working on some stuff. And so wait, which one of the trailers do we definitely want to watch?
okay, Roy, it's 9:55, man. And you still got you've got your announcement too that you want to make.
I
So
mean, yeah,
let's
mine
do
will get
this.
there.
Uh,
I mean, I'm
no,
down
no,
with. I'm
no.
still
Let's,
down with the trailers because I like literally got all of
I
them.
know your ass fired up too.
You can't get them. You can't get them
I
all
get
in
that.
5 minutes.
Well,
No, no. So
we ain't gotta
let's
get
do this.
off.
Let's
And unless y'all gotta
let,
go.
no. I got look, man. I got stuff I need to do.
Okay,
But
I got you.
Hey, James Otis Hall. Did he
Percy.
go to Texas Tech? He said
Yeah,
his former coach Mike Leach.
he said, yeah. He said his coach passed. Yeah. And James
Yeah,
Otis
yeah, he
Hall, I'm
passed
sorry, brother.
Monday night.
You've been with us the whole time, man, and couldn't get a word in edgewise. I apologize.
We
to you,
normally
brother.
do. We normally do. And I've been looking at his stuff. Actually, some of the comments I made were based on what he
Yeah,
said. So
Okay, so
yeah, yeah.
Southern's
So
Under Armour and Grambling it said was somebody put it in the chat.
it was James, wasn't it?
okay, yeah, it was.
But that's the thing. But see, my point is they have to pay for their uniforms. They don't have the same type
Yeah,
of deal. They both have to pay for their uniforms. Their apparel deals are not like the Power Fives or the other FCS schools where they give them the
where
uniforms.
yeah, like literally the smaller schools they're gonna have to pay,
Ah,
but
okay.
those
Yeah.
Power Fives they will give them because they want their gear to be shown
Show
because they
right.
know their gear will be shown on major TV and kids will go out and buy their shit. Percy,
Right.
what you got for us tonight on the way out, sir?
Nothing. I'm just can't wait till next week.
Right, absolutely. The Fireborough
James Otis
Ronin,
Hall.
you came on here.
James Otis Hall. Shout out to Iowa Wesleyan. That's where Mike Leach first started the air raid with Hal Mummy.
Lord have
Wow.
mercy. The Fireborough Ronin came in here with fire in his spirit, man. What you got for us going out, brother?
Hey, everybody, be safe out there. This all kinds of stuff is going around. Talking about another COVID variant. They're talking about stuff is ramping up. There's also some respiratory foolishness going on out there. It's hitting the kids pretty hard. So, if you got a mask up, man. Be safe. Hey, just be careful. Holidays is
There
not
you
the
go.
time to be passing. A lot of people have been passing. We just talked about Mike Leach. There's a couple other people, in entertainment
Yeah, we
and
talked about
in
Twitch
the
before you
public,
came on.
right? That are passing and getting out of here. And I understand did he die by suicide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. See, so that's very unfortunate, man. There's a lot of people out here hurting and you don't even realize it. So, if you can, be easy with folks. Be a little easy with them because you never know what they're going through.
Real talk. Yes, sir. So, Uncle Roy, what's going on with the network, sir?
So, as John says, the 3 or 4 people who tuned in, we are actually in the midst of a fundraiser right now, and we would love you guys' support. We've been doing this thing for a minute. We've got some things going on. So, as you can see over the screen now, please go to our website myjbn.com/grow. There are 4 different options to donate. You can either do the main fundraising thing that we're doing, which is buy a T-shirt and hat combo for $50, and that will get you these 2 items here. The hat. This is what the hat will look like. One of these hats is probably going to be the one in the middle, with contrasting colors, with the logos, 2 company logos on it, and then we will have you this T-shirt here. Unapologetically black-owned digital media since 1998. And going out and doing that. Or you can just say, hey, you know what? I want to support your cause or where you're trying to go with your goal. So I'm going to donate a unit for $25. We're trying to sell 4,000 units. Um, or you can just make a one-time donation of whatever you want to, or if you want to do a year-long monthly subscription for whatever amount you want to, you have those options. At worst case scenario, man, we please go download the app and register with us because that also helps with doing some of the things that we're doing. But we're just trying to make some things happen. We got a lot of stuff that's going to be kicking off here in 2023. One of the primary goals that we have with our fundraiser is getting into our studio space, and with some of the things that are happening, we're actually expecting to be in there at the worst, the first of the year. So literally the first or the second, we should be in there at the latest. But it may be even before that. It's going to help us bring you more events such as the Urban Nerd Con and several other events that we're working on. We will also we have 4 benchmarks that we're trying to reach, which is 1,000 units being sold. At each 1,000 units that we do, we will also be doing scholarships at HBCUs for students. Um, so those will be paid paid internships. It's not even considered scholarships. It's literally going to be a paid internship for a student at an HBCU who will be able to start working with us and everything. But again, we just need your support. Again, the site is myjbn.com/grow, and all the details and information about the fundraiser are there. We need your support. Please pass it along. If you know James or John, Percy Rod, it is on my page, at the top of my page, so you can go share it. Please see your friends and family. And this is one of those things because it's going to benefit everybody on here as we get this stuff going. Some of these things will be able to pull people in, and y'all know what we're about. This is of course one of the things showing that we have conversations about a whole lot of other stuff, and not just the general stuff. Although we did spend all day today on sports, on the
Hey
Nerd
man,
Show.
this shit turned into an episode of ONG Strike Zone fast.
Right.
Yeah, so suddenly this has become the Black College Sports Network, which is cool. I mean, we could be nerds about sports too. Nerds, the great thing about being a nerd is that it encompasses everything.
Yes, sir.
So, but before
I
we
thought we were
head out,
selling
I
double good
also
popcorn, man.
Oh, we didn't talk about Skip.
You talking about a fundraiser?
What'd you say, Percy?
We ain't talk about Skip.
Skip. Oh, Skip Bayless? No, fuck him.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, man, I can't stand that man, and I'm not gonna give him any traction on my show. So before we leave, I wanted to
That ain't no
once
problem,
again.
Skip. That ain't no problem, Skip.
That must have
And
been
Shannon's not my favorite person either, but Skip can suck my ass. Before we leave, I definitely wanted to say that check on your neighbors, check on your family. They may smile in your face, but there may be something behind that smile. To Auntie Nicole and Uncle DJ, we love you. We know you're going through some stuff right now. We just want you to know that we're there for you. If you need to holler at us, holler at us. We can't wait for you to come back to the show.
You just said Hooter.
For Auntie Nicole, Uncle DJ, Uncle Percy, Uncle Rod, Roy. Hey, you all take care of yourselves. We know that the holidays can be a stressful time for some people. So please reach out to somebody if you need to talk to someone before it becomes a load for you to bear. Take care of yourself. Next week is our best of the year, best of 2022. We'll be talking about the best of and the worst of throughout the year. And thank you for joining this very special episode of the Black College Sports Network. We'll holler at you next week.
I'm going to have some comics next week for your ads. I got comics on comics, I promise.
There you go. Peace.